Breaking news, Donald Trump continuing to unveil his energy policy. It is heavy on building out more fossil fuel pumping and fracking. And, of course, he is criticizing the Obama administration. Too much regulation. It's almost like a tax, he says. The global economy topic is #1 at the G7 summit in Japan. President Obama, along with other world leaders, discussing mutual challenges relating to global growth, emerging markets and trade, issues like the South China Sea. But, of course, the president had to face the media, who, again, immediately started asking him about GOP nominee Donald Trump. And here's what he had to say.
A lot of the proposals that he's made display either ignorance of world affairs or a cavalier attitude or an interest in getting tweets and headlines instead of actually thinking through what it is that is required to keep America safe and secure and prosperous, and what's required to keep the world on an even keel.
Joining me now in a Fox Business exclusive, Ohio Senator Rob Portman, who's also a member of the Senate Committee on Homeland Security and Senate Energy and Natural Resources Committee. The president obviously wanting to promote a global and certainly a major foreign policy change, but as he looks at that, he's got to answer these questions about Donald Trump, who has just spoken about the energy policy. And Senator Portman, you're in Ohio, where fracking has been a real boon for the economy there. What do you make of what Donald Trump has just rolled out?
Well, first of all, I think what I heard through your broadcasting of it sounded very positive. He talked about an all-of-the-above energy strategy, where we're using the resources we have in the ground in Ohio, as you say. Having worked there, Liz, you know how important it is to us.
Sure.
He's also talking about the alternative, and he made an interesting comment saying it will be even worse with Hillary Clinton. And he says that because of what she said about coal, about fracking, therefore about natural gas and oil. And I think he's right. I mean, I do think there is a danger there of us not progressing forward and using these resources to be able to improve the economic situation of so many Ohio families who are right now seeing this middle-class squeeze with lower wages and higher expenses. But also, she could even make it worse, where we would actually not be allowing the fracking to continue, not being able to get the permits, having more regulations. So I think he makes a good point.
Sure. But isn't, Senator, this perhaps in part a case of be careful what you wish for? Ohio is fracking quite a bit. So is North Dakota. Supply of natural gas coming up. It's cheaper. And hence people are turning away from coal at this point. And don't you look at that and say, well, it's the laws of supply and demand?
Well, that's part of it. There's no question about it. But the other part is regulations. And there's no question that the war on coal is succeeding, whether it's the EPA regulations or the MSHA regulations, new regulations coming out, as you know now, to keep a lot of the kind of mining that happens in Ohio from happening. I think there's another approach, which is to burn the coal more cleanly and use the 200 or 300 years of supply we have in the ground. And that's certainly something where the U.S. should take a leadership role. And we have legislation to do that, to provide tax incentives, to actually do carbon capture and sequestration and so on. So that's the better answer. Let's use the resources we have to create more economic activity and get this economy moving again and get better wages and better benefits back. So I think Donald Trump is on the right side of this one as it relates to Ohio working families.
Okay. Well, Ohio's done pretty darn well, and of course, Governor Kasich is part of that. So are you. You're up for re-election. Will you call upon Donald Trump at rallies? Is he helpful to your campaign? Will you be calling upon him to say, come to Ohio and introduce me? You know how that works in election time.
Yeah. Well, look, we're excited about the campaign. We're confident that we can win because we're talking about these issues, economic growth. And I'm running against a guy who was governor at a time when, unfortunately, Ohio saw about a 350,000 job loss. We were above the national average in unemployment, and he added so much to the debt and deficit that he actually left a record deficit for our state. So we were 48th in the country in job creation when my opponent was governor. Now we're top 10 and on the way up. So you're right. We're doing better, and we're doing better because these policies have been put in place to create more jobs through tax reform, regulatory relief, the kind of things that we need to do in Washington, D.C. to deal with the debt and deficit as well. So I'm excited about the race and looking forward to the debate being engaged here. And I don't know. I think Donald Trump will probably run his own campaign. I'm certainly running my own campaign, and we're very confident.
Well, it doesn't sound like you need a helping hand here. Good luck to you, Senator. Thank you very much. We appreciate you coming on.
Thanks for having me on.
Anytime, Senator Rob Portman, Fox Business exclusive, the senator from Ohio.